Hello everyone. Today we're going to create the PCB file and we are kind of preparing ourselves. So we can tell that we are very beginning stage. So let's just go ahead and create the PCB. So first we're going to go here and then right click and create a new project PCB. And once we do it, it's going to create this kind of a huge, a PCB, but we're gonna mess around with the size later on. So once we create that, the next thing you want to do is that you want to update all of your schematic to the PCB, right? Or you can also do from here as well. Like if you go to the design, you can see like update schematic and then our import changes. If you do have any changes, you don't always want to use this because sometimes you already have updated this schematic to the PCB, but you have some changes you made later on and you want to also reflect those as well. But if I click on here, it's not going to work because the Altium is going to freak out. You have to save the file first. So let's just save the file as well. So I just did simply Control and S, and if I do it, it's going to create a file. It's going to save it, and if you want to save on the server, up to you. But now we can confidently just go to design, create update PCB, and it's going to definitely do the job. But before we do so, we have to be careful about something. A lot of us really like to work by having some rooms or having some specific net classes or component classes, and we may want to configure those so that our designators have some reflection towards the room names we have created, or our PCB contains the net classes that we want to have. So to do so, if you go to the project and project option, and if we go to this multi-channel, you can see like there are a few options that gonna help you to create the designators in your PCB so that you can have a cell screen saying what designator is you on to channel 1, or you can change based on the room naming and style if you want, or you can just create your own. So it's something to be careful about. And if you're having rooms, which we already have talked about in one of the videos, then make sure you click on the generate room as a click option if you want to generate a structure, classes for it. For the sheet 1, you can click it on, and if you feel like there's more settings that you kind of want to have, and definitely just make sure you do so and read the it actually explains to you like what is going to happen, so it's pretty much self-explanatory. So let's just say okay. I don't think there's too much that we have to be very careful at this moment, but we can definitely talk through different part of it later on. So we are very confident to just update the schematic so we can dump a whole components to our main part. So now that I clicked on the room, it created a room, but I do have an entire video about what the heck the room is and what it's not. But I think for now, I don't really care about the rooms. Once we have this window, if you click on 3, it's gonna bring you to the 2D layout, and if you hold the shift and space and the right click of the mouse, then you can definitely scroll around. But you can see that the axis is kind of off, right? The axis is not really here, because sometimes if you have a really huge board, you may want to just look through different part of it. So we have to change the axis. To do so, you have to go to simply edit, origin, and then set, and you have to put it somewhere that you want. Okay, here you go. And if I go and click 3, you can definitely see that the axis is right in the corner. Another part of, probably one of the most biggest part of a PCB is that defining the grid size. If you have a very huge board, then definitely you want to work with something around like 1 mil, 5 mil, 10 mil to be precise. Or if you have smaller board, then you can just go up to like some 0.1 millimeter. But having a consistency is really important because it's going to help you a lot. So if you click just G on your shortcut key, you can define the the grid size, but I like to have a grid properties. So here, as you can see, that there is some, actually, if I go, there's some like a few dots. There are your cores, but if you zoom more into it, you can see like more tiny dots to it. So it's more like a fine tone. It just helps you to guide your component, but I like to convert this dot into lines. So to do so, you can just click G, grid properties, and you can say course to lines. I like to change them to like maybe a different color if you want to. And for the dots, I want to have them a brighter color, so I want to say golden, and then just apply. Now you can see like if I move this component, it'll be very easy for me to like to see whether it's aligning with other components or not. And if I change my grid, it's also going to change it based on the grid size I'm choosing, which is extremely useful, definitely very much useful. But we want to talk about something called the selection memory. The reason behind is that a lot of time if you're like me who likes to keep everything organized. So we talked about the union in the schematic. You can also do the same process union here, right? If you just select all of them together, right click, and if you go to the union part, create a union, and here you go 5 objects being saved. And now if I just click on them, go to union and say select all the unions, it's definitely going to work. But in the layout tool, there is even more cool stuff that you can work on. So think about I wanna separate all of my let's say, oops, it's not really letting me to do because they're all union. So I want to go here in union and just select all in the union or break object from the union. Actually, I want to do all of. Now I can able to move things very easily. So okay, so channel 2 and channel 1 and channel 2. I want to save the whole register as in a memory, so that once I select one of them, I can essentially click all of them at the same time. Kind of like an union, but not too much, because in the union you can really add more information to it. But here, the memory selection, you can definitely do so. So if I select all of them, if I go to edit memory selection, store, control 1, now they are all stored in a slot 1. So if I want to recall them, you can do like LT1, which is basically recalling them. So if you recall it, it's gonna be more easy peasy. But later on, you decided to add even these 2 more register too. So if you want to also have them in your memory selection, you can just select all of them, or maybe just 2 of them, and go to your edit, and you can go to your memory selection, store plus, and shift 1. Now if I do LT shift 1, I'm essentially like selecting all of the 5 register, which is pretty cool. It's gonna be very handy based on how you use it. I use it a lot for my power delivery circuit or my filtering circuit. I have a unique setup for each of them, so I think it's pretty simple. It's probably something that you may wanna consider. And also there's some other tools that you probably will get used to it as we talked about it, but I think for now the video is enough, and hopefully we will cover more in the next video.